There we go. All right. Today, my goal is to help you understand what this Transform Your Health in 7 Days is going to cover. So, what it is looking at is three main areas that we're going to be looking at over 7 days, and it's going to be including this starting point that I'm going to start with today. Some of it I've already done, and it is looking at your labs. So looking at the clues that we already have. If you don't have labs, though, that's okay as well, that we get to look at the areas of your health and where you could use the most support in that short amount of time. We're going to focus it directly on what you need. And there's going to be kind of a baseline, though. It's also going to give you access into a community, more resources, and a big part of this is mindset. So we're looking really at like lifestyle, body wise, looking at our systems, and then also connecting in our mindset piece of it. And then putting it all together. And what you're going to do is every day you're going to have an action step that you get to go through. And sorry, I'm in a new room and I don't know why the phone is ringing. Oh, and I don't know how to turn it. Let's see. Sorry, I did not expect that. And but we're gonna keep on going with it. So as we're going through this 7 day transformation, it's really the springboard, and what you're going to get with it is like 7 days of those focused emails, of action steps, of videos that you're going to do. But really, it's a 30-day plan that we're going to put together, and you're going to get some support through that, as well as those one-to-one calls that I want to know exactly what you need. What are your challenges? What have you kind of gotten hung up on? And then what are your goals? So ideally, I'm looking for a lot of that, kind of like I do. I love to, while my kids are at their hockey practices, I am going. Last night I ran 5 miles. Last week, or before I got like this kind of sickness thing that went through the house, like I was up to doing like 20 miles on the bike and then doing a 2 mile run, training for a triathlon. I'm looking forward to, staying and getting strengthened again for summertime and doing hiking. I love to be outside. And I know there are several of you too that have like a passion, but something that's holding you back in your health. So let me check in and see I don't see on Facebook if I can see comments on here. If anybody has any questions, I think I haven't quite figured out if I can see, but it does show me a comment side. So if you have questions, and I'd be curious of who is in this space, if there's something particular, is it the mindset? Is it the lifestyle? Is it kind of just putting everything together that you are needing? So I am going to share my screen and go through kind of the key factors that we're looking at as you're looking to optimize your health, and the challenges or clues into where that is being able to kind of unravel that. And I'm going to start with this point, is this functional laboratory sheet. If you have done any of my lives yet, I've been doing this quite a bit, but I'm not going through the whole lab sheet for today. So what I want to, the key takeaways is looking at some of the numbers. As this sheet is going to be kind of your cheat sheet guide. And this is part of what I want to see is if you have them, your recent labs, we're going to definitely look at this sheet to help you understand where to know how to take control over your health to then know what to target. So the top part of this, we're looking at blood sugar regulation. So some people, this might be the target that we're going to really focus on, this part of the labs of blood sugar regulation, of how well your body is using the nutrition that you're putting in, and is there some fine tuning that we need to do in there. And that can be a big one. This can also be off if there's things like significant stress happening. There are other markers, though, that'll give me clues as to what that is. So as we go down here, then we get into some of these electrolytes, and I'm looking at how well your body is detoxifying, how well is your body balancing through your adrenal system, or like that stress management system. Are we getting enough fuel in here in some of the protein sources? And is your body breaking it down and using the nutrients that you're actually putting into your body? So it's several layers of are we getting the right type? Is our body breaking down to where we can use what we are putting in? Or are there some things happening? Maybe leaky gut is a big picture. Maybe it's adrenal stress picture. Maybe it is the blood sugar picture. Then we get into these values here, the bilirubin, alk-Phos, LDH, AST, ALT. Some of these are going to be all of the values that we're looking at for our liver health. Liver is huge for going through and detoxifying, for helping to cleanse and purify. And as as a naturopathic doctor, I'm looking through these labs as through like a naturopathic, but also a functional perspective, and how we tie it all together. If we're looking at energy and the next labs on here, people may or may not have, depending on what your provider has put out there. And those are the values in here, looking at our iron and our iron stores through ferritin. So that's the section right in here, the TIBC through the transferrin. We're looking at our iron levels and what that can mean if they're high or low. So that is going to give me clues as to what that status looks like in the body, because that can play a huge role in your energy. Because again, I'm looking for how do we create abundant energy, and my perspective from a natural perspective. And so these are some of the clues to help us put this puzzle together and really take the pieces that are missing to then take action. And really 7 days, setting you up for a 30-day plan though, but it's going to be 7 days direct. Every day there's going to be interaction to create this change, but it's going to be simple and fun. So the next values in here as we get through cholesterol, triglycerides, all the way down through the cholesterol. So these ones we're looking at our lipid levels. When I'm looking at this, I'm also thinking hormones. Our cholesterol is like the main component that then filters into our hormones, our reproductive hormones, as well as cortisol. So it ties back to some of those adrenals that I see up above. So that's how I'm going to use this. And with our lipids and hormones, that again is going to be one potential key factor for how you're feeling and how your energy is, and then what we need to support to help shift them. So after that, we're looking at CRP or hsCRP and homocysteine, inflammation. These are two kind of the markers for inflammation. They may or may not be on a panel depending what your doctor or provider ordered. And then as we keep going down, you're going to see TSH at the end of this page, all the way through this TBG. These are all going to be part of how our thyroid is working, which is like this three-legged stool with our reproductive hormones, our thyroid hormones, and our adrenal hormones, and how they're communicating with each other. And again, foundation, our thyroid gives us huge clues in whether we have a lot of energy, where we feel really good and we recharge really well, or whether we're like kind of sluggish and digestion is sluggish and maybe difficulty thinking. So these can be some of the clues that we're looking at. As we continue going down, and then part of the thyroid, I should say, these antibodies, I'm looking at underlying immune system of how that is affecting thyroid. So those markers are going to give some indicators. And then we have our vitamin D, which most people know by now is actually more like a hormone that acts everywhere in the body. It makes a huge difference in energy for some people. So I like to see that if it's something that's ordered, but it's not often ordered unless we ask for it. The last one on here, fibrinogen activity, is another one for immune, the spectrum of your immunity of what that looks like. So again, I'm not trying to go through each of these individually, because what we'll do is I will actually sit down and go through these individually with you and what your numbers look like and what your patterns look like, but just to get a broad sense of what your labs can give you, giving kind of an overview. So the next section in here where you see the test here and the WBC is our white blood cells. So this actually goes along with these percentages that are going to come down here. So as I look at my white blood cells, then I'm going to come down to the neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, and this must not be the one I edited because I had them all on one page. But your neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, and basophils on this form, what that's going to be is it's going to tell me underlying, usually low grade, viral, bacterial, just microbial imbalance in general. So that's what I'm looking at for those markers and the percentages of where we expect them to be at. And then if they're out of range, particularly high, that's going to give me clues as to what's going on in your body and what might be stealing some of your energy. If your body is having to work through all this, it takes a lot of energy. And so those are going to be clues there. And then if we go back up to this RBC or the red blood cells and the markers HTB, all the way through your platelets, we're looking at those red blood cells. And the size and shape is basically what those numbers are telling me. And big indicator there is methylation, if methylation is a factor in your energy. And also we get kind of a glimpse in iron if there hasn't been an actual iron panel done. These can be huge, markers that tell us what we can do about it to help get that energy up, to get your body rebalanced and doing what it needs to be doing. So that is kind of a snapshot of what we're looking at and what we go through with your individual labs, having these numbers filled in if you have them. If not, like I said, that's okay too. There are usually signs and things that point us in the direction. But in general, too, we have a foundation that everybody can fine tune, even me. Like I'm always fine tuning that baseline and finding where we need more support to get where we want to be, right? As either like upping our performance or finding that next level is where everybody I feel who is in that stage is at. Like we're always trying to find that next level, right? So the bottom part on this one gives some general for hormones. Most people are not going to have hormones, but this kind of gives an idea of a breakdown that I would go through with you if that looks like it's something that is a factor for you. So I'm going to stop sharing for that for right now. And then looking at the picture of where this is going that is one piece of the puzzle that we put together. So again, as a naturopathic doctor looking at functional things, I look at mind body, I incorporate in like mindfulness practice, I incorporate in supplements as going to be part of this challenge that are going to be tailored to what you actually need. And then you'll get started with those as soon as we get you in, which is why I'm hoping to get everybody enrolled in this and going by March 1st. So I hope this was helpful and gives you some insight into what you can shift. So really lifestyle, we're looking at the mindset piece, and we're also looking at integrating it all together and individualizing it so you have that direct contact and creating the shift that you're seeing to create that abundant energy naturally. So Dr. Alana McLaughlin, I will see you all hopefully soon. Don't wait, get registered as soon as you go through this and let me know what your questions are. And I look forward to connecting with you soon.